Have you ever found yourself haunted by someone you thought you'd moved on from, only to realize you don't understand why you can't let go? Your mind knows the relationship is over. You know that person didn't bring you happiness. You know you spent more time waiting than being with them, that moments of joy were far outweighed by anxiety. Yet strangely, your heart keeps drifting back to them. Maybe you catch yourself hoping they'll reach out again, wondering if this time things will be different. Asking if maybe, just maybe, if you had been a little better, they might have loved you more. These thoughts sharpen when the night gets late and the world falls silent. We tell ourselves this is love, but was it really? Or was it anxiety wearing the mask of love? Too often, we mistake loneliness, obsession, a hunger to be seen, a fear of abandonment, and the wounds ingrained since childhood for love itself. These feelings feel so much like love that it's almost impossible to tell the difference. Carl Jung once said that what we fail to acknowledge consciously will come to rule our lives, and we call that destiny. Perhaps the reason we keep falling for the same kind of person, getting hurt in the same way, and crashing against the same endings is not fate at all. It's the unseen pull of our unconscious. We believe we crave love, but often what we truly seek is familiarity. Our brains find the comfort of the known more secure than the promise of happiness. That feels strange at first. Why would anyone choose familiar pain over joy? But the unconscious isn't governed by logic. It moves on patterns carved by past experience. If, as a child, you had to tiptoe for someone's love, you might still, as an adult, find yourself drawn to those who keep you on edge. If you had to be perfect to earn affection, you might feel stronger emotions toward those who judge you than those who accept you as you are. If love came unpredictably, you might even find stability boring. This is the greatest illusion about love, that what's healthy feels strange, and what's painful feels like home. We mistake calm for emptiness, and anxiety for passion. Psychology frames this through attachment patterns, not just childhood bonds with parents, but the internal maps we carry that shape how we give and receive love, protect ourselves, and what we fear when someone gets close. When love draws near, it can bring joy and fear intertwined. A fear they'll leave, that dependence will bring abandonment, that showing your true self will lead to rejection. So we seek endless reassurance. Do you really love me? Are you okay? Why are you upset? Why didn't you respond sooner? These aren't merely clinginess. They come from deep-rooted fears. The belief I am only lovable if I'm perfect. The feeling love can vanish any time. The habit I have to work harder to keep this person. These feelings rise again, wrapped in love's name. Ethan always found himself attracted to a certain kind of person. Not those who made him feel safe, but those who made him uneasy. People who kept their distance, who rarely showed emotion, who seemed just slightly out of reach. At first, he thought these people were special, worth chasing. He wanted to close the gap, wanted them to show him a secret, exclusive side. At the beginning, everything felt magical. Late-night talks, sudden warmth, moments when he felt truly seen. But those moments never lasted. One day, the attention and closeness would come like a flood. The next, the person would pull away as if nothing had happened. Confused, Ethan tried harder. He became more cautious, kinder, more understanding. But the more he tried, the shakier the connection became. He checked his phone obsessively. A delayed reply tightened his chest. Every word, every emoji got dissected for hidden meaning. He believed this was love. But much later he realized what he'd loved wasn't the person. It was the momentary relief of being chosen, the rush of gaining affection. Over time, he had grown familiar with the fight to be loved more than with the love itself. This is where the concept of repetition compulsion comes in, the unconscious pull to repeat painful patterns. We assume we'd want to avoid pain, but the unconscious often does the opposite. It replays unfinished stories, drags unresolved feelings into new relationships, searching for the love missed before. It speaks quietly inside. This time will be different. This time I can make them choose me. This time I won't be abandoned. So even when it seems we're meeting someone new, we're actually stepping back into the same old drama. The actors change, the lines sound familiar, the stage looks different, but the script and ending often don't. And again, we ask ourselves, why do I keep attracting the same kind of person? Why am I drawn to those who make me struggle? Why can't I move toward the ones who bring me peace? The answers don't live just in them. They live in our own old ways of loving. Repeated relationships share a pattern. They feel familiar more than fulfilling. If love in childhood was conditional, you learn to spot conditions quickly in others. The coldness that triggers anxiety but also strangely feels like home. The need to prove yourself endlessly, the endurance of waiting and hoping. That familiarity is dangerous because we mistake it for truth. Old wounds harden into personality, anxiety becomes love, and there's a reason these painful relationships grip us so tightly. It's intermittent reinforcement. When rewards arrive unpredictably, we cling harder. If someone is consistently kind, we settle comfortably. But if they swing between warmth and cold, appearances and disappearances, confusion grips us. It feeds obsession. Yesterday they said they loved me. Why are they cold today? Last week I missed them so much. Why is there silence now? Did I do something wrong? These questions spiral. When kindness returns, relief floods in so strongly it feels like love. But really, it's not joy that grips us. It's a brief pause in anxiety, mistaking the temporary absence of pain for happiness. This is the addictive nature of anxious love. It doesn't fill you, it just numbs the emptiness for a moment, making it hard to walk away. True love calms your spirit. Anxious love shakes you, then offers momentary comfort. That fleeting relief keeps people coming back, like a thirsty person drinking seawater. Each sip worsens the thirst, but the act feels like quenching it. Ethan felt this. Every time the person reached out, he came alive. Days of torment dissolved in a single message. But the happiness never lasted. The more this cycle repeated, the more he lost sight of who he was, what he liked, what he wanted, the life he dreamed of. His world shrank to their responses. He wasn't loving, he was waiting. And waiting for too long makes us mistake it for a relationship. At this crossroads, we owe ourselves a hard truth. Do I really love this person, or am I addicted to the relief that comes when they reappear? Do I feel peace when I'm with them, or am I constantly bracing for loss? Am I truly loved, or am I endlessly proving my worth? These questions sting, but we can't avoid them, because avoiding them only repeats the same cycle. The faces change, the names change, the seasons change, but the wounds remain. Love can explode with intensity, but intensity alone doesn't equal love. Anxiety does too. Obsession does. Fear of loss does. Deep-seated pain does. When we judge love by how strong it feels, we risk mistaking torment for passion. The measure of love isn't its intensity, it's its direction. Does it make you more yourself, or erode who you are? Does it expand your life, or trap you inside another's mood? Do you feel safe around them, or smaller? These questions matter. Real love doesn't drain you. It doesn't test you daily. It doesn't turn your nervous system into a war zone. Real love can be quiet, ordinary, uneventful. But it's in that quiet space that we truly find ourselves. Many people don't recognize stable love when it comes, because it feels so unfamiliar. If you're used to anxiety, calm feels hollow. If you learned love through fighting and making up, peace seems dull. If affection once demanded struggle, unconditional kindness can breed suspicion. Why is this too easy? Why is nothing happening? Sometimes, those doubts are the first sign of healing. What feels boring might actually be stability. What feels dull might be health. What feels strange might be the love you've long needed. The key takeaway: we're not often hurt by love. We're hurt by the anxiety we mistook for love. We're not holding on to people. We're holding on to old wounds rewritten through them. So real change doesn't start with analyzing their silence or their shifting feelings. It starts with looking inside. Why am I drawn to this pattern? Why did I mistake anxiety for love? Why did calm make me restless? Why was I fighting to be chosen rather than loved? Answering these allows love to become a path to self-understanding, not just a feeling but a doorway. Jung spoke about the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny, hide, or refuse to accept. Not just the dark sides, but everything repressed, emotions left unexpressed, talents undiscovered, anger stuffed down, grief unspoken, even possibilities never lived. The shadow never disappears. Ignored, it lives in the unconscious and shows up in others, taking on new faces. Why do certain people magnetize us instantly? Why do some spark intense dislike for no clear reason? Why do some connections feel destined from the start? Jung said it's because we see parts of ourselves reflected in them. It's not the person alone, but their role as the mirror of our shadow. Claire was the type who craved order, responsible, thoughtful, focused on meeting expectations. Outwardly, she had it together, but inside she felt trapped. Then she met Andrew, a free spirit, impulsive, uncaring of judgment. Later, she realized she loved him partly because he lived the freedom she'd buried deep inside her. Through him, she was facing her shadow. Often love starts not as love for the other person, but fascination with a hidden part of ourselves discovered in them. That's why some relationships begin with overwhelming intensity. They're not about the actual person, but a dance with our own unconscious. That's where projection begins, casting our shadow out onto others. We don't see people as they are. We see what we want, what we lack, what dreams we hang on them, and over time, we start loving illusions instead of reality. That's why many relationships crumble, not because the other person changed, but because the fantasy broke. Remember your early days in love. Flaws seemed invisible. Small kindnesses felt monumental. Every glance, every word, every habit seemed beautiful. But time uncovers the real person. Mistakes, selfishness, disappointments. Many think that's when love fades, but often it's when projection ends. Real love begins when projection ends. When you stop treating someone like a savior or a deity, accept their humanity with all its scars and messiness, and still choose to stay. People often think love is just emotion, but realize over time that it's mostly attitude. Feelings shift, the thrill dulls, passion cools, but respect remains, care remains, commitment remains. Those are the threads that hold relationships together. When Emma met Daniel, that steadiness surprised her. He wasn't a hero or a movie lead, no grand declarations or games. He simply kept promises, actions matched words, his demeanor stayed consistent, even on hard days. Emma found herself resting for the first time in a relationship, and realized that peace isn't absence of love, but its mature form. So what does real love look like? It has certain hallmarks. Security. You don't constantly guess their feelings or prove yourself to be loved. Respect. You try to understand rather than control. Growth. You become more yourself instead of shrinking. Responsibility. You don't run when issues arise, but face them together. And freedom. Love isn't possession, but mutual respect for individual paths. But why do some people reject healthy love? Why do they lose interest when calm sets in? Why does their heart not stir for a good partner? The answer lies in familiarity. We pick familiar pain over happiness. Those used to anxiety find calm strange. Those used to chaos find peace boring. Sometimes we sabotage good relationships unconsciously, drawn back to old hurt. Michael was like that, always trying to save someone broken, unstable, falling apart. He mistook this for love, but he realized he wasn't loving. He was proving his worth through sacrifice. Being needed felt like being valuable, so he kept giving, enduring, holding on. But real love isn't built on sacrifice. A relationship sustained by one person breaking down will collapse both. Love isn't rescuing someone or living their life for them. We can reach out, be there, support, but we can't walk their path. Sometimes loving someone means having the courage to walk away, because love is an obligation. It isn't a prison. It shouldn't feel like losing yourself every day to keep it alive. Maybe right now you're missing someone, but ask yourself, did I love that person? Or was I in love with what I hoped to get from them? Does it hurt to lose them, or because a fantasy died? Am I craving love or validation? These aren't easy questions, but avoiding them traps you in the same story. Jung said the most important journey we take is meeting ourselves. Perhaps love, at its core, isn't meeting the other, it's discovering who we are, our fears, wounds, voids, shadows. When we understand these, we truly understand love. Then love stops being obsession, fear, or a race for approval. It becomes not two incomplete people trying to save each other, but two willing to understand each other. Maybe that's the real love we spend our lives searching for.